people, in this video we want to look at the causes of preeclampsia. Who gets preeclampsia? Basically, what is preeclampsia? It is gestational hypertension plus proteinuria. That becomes preeclampsia. Okay. So what is preeclampsia? It is gestational hypertension plus proteinuria. Gestational hypertension is pregnancy-induced hypertension, isn't it? So now let us look at who can develop this. So a primea gravida, first time she is getting pregnant. So she has first time exposure to the chorionic villi of the placenta. So she can develop preeclampsia. These are just risk factors. Or there's a family history of hypertension. Parents, somebody has hypertension in their house. So they can develop pregnancy-induced hypertension. Preeclampsia history is there in the family. Then she can develop preeclampsia. These are risk factors, understand. Placental abnormalities. There is something to do with the placenta which is abnormal. So basically there is excessive exposure to the chorionic villi. So the placental villi, right? There's excessive exposure to this. Like probably that lady is carrying twins. So she'll have 2 placenta possibly. And diabetes if she has, right? Diabetes mellitus. If she has diabetes, then also she can have preeclampsia, okay? Placental ischemia. So there is placental ischemia. One more thing they have written on this side, okay? Look at this. Failure of trophoblast invasion. I have written it here actually, but this is also abnormal placentation. There is failure of the trophoblast invasion. See the uterine lining, if it is here, this villi are supposed to invade the uterine wall, isn't it? So there is some failure of trophoblast invasion. That is also one of the causes, okay? Then obesity. So always blame the woman, right? They will not be happy if they don't blame the woman. Obesity. So obesity will lead to insulin resistance. Then she has some pre-existing vascular disease. What are these vascular diseases? Let's look at them. Like she can have some coarctation of aorta. She can have some connective tissue disorder like lupus erythematosus, right? Okay, then let us look at continuing with these causes. New paternity. So paternity is something to do with father, right? New father, paternity. What is this? This is something complicated, okay? This means to say that she has carried a child before of a different man and now she's carrying a child of a different man. So sperm donor, could be whatever, okay? So that can lead to preeclampsia. Then thrombophilia. Blood is more likely to clot in these people, like they have some antiphospholipid syndrome, right? And they have factor V Leiden, protein CS deficiency. Okay, so those are some of the causes of preeclampsia. Now let us look at the etiological factors for preeclampsia. So same thing we told you. There is a failure of trophoblast invasion. There is vascular endothelial damage. Inflammatory always blames some cytokines, remember. Immune tolerance between the mother and the fetus. Mother and fetus are not at all compatible. Coagulation abnormality, same thing they're explaining in different way. Free radicals, here and there just add some free radicals. Okay, then angiogenic and anti-angiogenic proteins, there's some imbalance. Let's look at some details, wait. So basically there's a lot of imbalance happening here, okay guys. They are blaming some prostaglandins, then thromboxane. So a lot of things, very technical here it is. So basically just remember, like there is some imbalance between angiogenic and anti-angiogenic proteins. So here they're talking about prostaglandin, thromboxane, platelets. Then there will be some nitric oxide they are talking about. So many things, there's imbalance, okay. Then genetic predisposition. So if the person has some genetic, we already told you, family history. Dietary deficiencies or excess. So it can be either deficiency or excess. Either of them can lead to preeclampsia. Sometimes this preeclampsia can come because of the previously existing hypertension in this woman. Before pregnancy itself, she has hypertension. So that is becoming a superimposed preeclampsia. Why does this woman have hypertension before pregnancy? Because that is essential hypertension. No, nothing medically wrong as such for the hypertension to be caused. That is essential or primary hypertension, or she has some renal disease which is causing hypertension. Coarctation of aorta. She has probably endocrine disorders like thyrotoxicosis, diabetes mellitus, pheochromocytoma. pheochromocytoma, thyrotoxic, standard causes of hypertension. Then lupus erythematosus. So these are the reasons why she has hypertension already. So that can get, because of all these causes, will lead to proteinuria. So that will become superimposed preeclampsia. Okay. Guys, look at this table here. It's trying to summarize the etiology of preeclampsia. On this side, they have shown the normal person, how the blood vessel is, right? Looks like it is big enough, the blood vessel, and there is less platelet aggregation, no blood clot, etc. And there is good uteroplacental blood flow. But when it comes to preeclampsia, what has happened? There is vasospasm. And this vasoconstriction itself will be one of the causes of hypertension. So here you can see there is some endothelial dysfunction. There is some problem with thromboxane, cytokines, etc. So prostaglandin, thromboxane, all this imbalance will be there, right? Then cytokines, obviously inflammatory things. Then some oxidative stress, the free radicals they told you. Anti-angiogenic factors, what they told you, are here actually. Anti-angiogenic are these. See? SFLT1, endoglin. Okay? So what is happening here? There is hypertension because of vasoconstriction. Organ perfusion will reduce. So the placenta will have less blood supply. So there can be IUGR for the baby. The kidney will have less blood supply, so there will be oliguria. Liver will go into ischemia, so this will go into HELLP syndrome, because liver ischemia will happen, HELLP syndrome will happen. That is hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelet count. Brain will go into seizures, etc. Then endothelial dysfunction, ascites, edema, proteinuria, pleural effusion. So proteinuria is because of this endothelial dysfunction, so it is losing protein into the urine. Activation of the coagulation system, thrombocytopenia, DIC, there will be clotting here. So basically you should understand there will be clots, right? And there is hemoconcentration. Instead of hemodilution, there is hemoconcentration here. Okay. Here they are talking about VEGF, nitric oxide. These are normal anyways. Okay. Guys, this PRESS refers to posterior reversible encephalopathy syndrome. PRESS, okay? PRESS is posterior reversible encephalopathy syndrome, the brain. Okay? Guys, one more thing. This SFLT1, this will be more, okay? This is a diagnostic criteria, so you should know this. This is anti-angiogenic factor. SFLT1 will be more. So soluble FMS like tyrosine kinase 1. Okay. So SFLT, F is for FMS like tyrosine kinase 1. This SFLT1 will be more. Okay, this is a diagnostic criteria, so you should know that one also. Okay.